Rimuru Go Back in Time by Rimu-chi. Massacre Part 1. Rimuru's POV. I glide smoothly through the night sky, the cool air rushing past me as I survey the chaos below. From this vantage point, the lights of fires and camp lanterns dotting the ground seem small, insignificant. It's a moment of calm just before the next stage of our plan. I pause, sensing the silent alert from my allies. The distant flash of a destroyed camp confirms their success. Each base falls in perfect sequence, just as we planned. I take a deep breath, my focus shifting, readying myself. Suddenly, a message echoes within me, resonating in a familiar, comforting voice. Notice, human souls have been successfully gathered, allowing for Master's evolution. A faint smile forms on my lips. Good. Make sure this announcement reaches everyone on the battlefield, but keep it out of the Eastern Empire's ears. I'm not ready to reveal everything just yet. As you wish, she replies, and there's a noticeable brightness in her tone, as if my success has lifted her spirits too. Her response makes me pause. What if I gave her a name? The thought is strangely compelling. Could naming her allow her to evolve? She's already at an ultimate level, but maybe, with a name, she could become Amana's. My curiosity deepens. I reach out to her mentally. If I were to give you a name, would that make a difference? Could it allow you to grow further, maybe even into Amana's? Her response comes slowly, almost hesitantly. My lord, if you give me a name, it would deepen our connection. It could allow me to take on a more permanent form, a bond even closer to your will. I would become an extension of your power in a truer sense. I feel a thrill at the possibility, imagining the bond and the potential strength it would unlock. Interesting, I murmur, flying higher into the night. I'll give it some thought. She remains quiet, but I can sense a hint of anticipation behind her silence, as though the prospect of receiving a name excites her. Below, the battlefield stirs, a restless anticipation filling the air. My allies have completed their missions, the path is set, and soon I'll make my move. For now, I drift on, taking in the night and the growing sense of power within me, ready to push it to new limits. Whatever you decide, Master, her voice whispers gently. I am here to serve you. I smile, savoring the calm before the storm, the satisfaction of everything falling into place, and the thrill of knowing this is only the beginning. Northern Army Camp. 200 Fulmouth soldiers vs Benimaru. The dense forest was silent, an ominous stillness surrounding the Falmouth soldiers camped around their tents and fires. Their voices carried through the still air, some laughing, some boasting about their plans. Did you hear about that so-called monster nation? One soldier sneered. They say it's full of beautiful women. Wouldn't mind bringing a few back home, Another soldier chuckled. Imagine it, servants for the rest of our lives. I bet those monsters are nothing without that precious leader of theirs. Just as their laughter peaked, a shadow emerged from the tree line. Benimaru stepped into view, his sharp gaze fixed on the army before him. His crimson hair and the fiery aura surrounding him made him look like an inferno given form. One soldier noticed him and scoffed. What's this? They only sent one man. You're not even worth the time. Another sneered. This is the mighty monster nation's strength. One lone fighter. Benimaru's expression didn't shift. You talk too much, he said calmly. I'm more than enough for the likes of you. The soldiers laughed, thinking it was the joke of the night. 1 against 200. You must have a death wish. Benimaru smirked, a glint of amusement in his eyes. No, you're mistaken. This isn't a battle, it's a massacre. With a single gesture, flames erupted around him, casting an eerie glow across the trees. In an instant, Benimaru vanished and reappeared in their midst, his katana slicing cleanly through the first soldier, who fell without a sound. The others froze, stunned by the speed and ferocity of his attack. You thought you could walk into our lands and kidnap our people. Benimaru's voice was low but deadly. Pathetic. One soldier swung his sword, shouting, don't let him intimidate you. Kill him. Benimaru sidestepped the attack effortlessly, his blade flashing as another 3 soldiers fell in quick succession. Weaklings, he muttered, his eyes flashing with disdain. Within minutes, 50 soldiers lay defeated, some in flames, others fallen to his blade. As he moved, a rush of energy coursed through him, a fiery power awakening within. Notice. New skill acquired. Benimaru felt the knowledge of this skill unfold within his mind. It was unique, a fire-based power unlike anything he had before. Flame Dominion, it was called, capable of controlling infernos on a massive scale. Suddenly, another message followed, echoing like a voice from the heavens. Notice, Lord Rimuru Tempest has evolved this skill into an ultimate skill, Inferno Sovereign. Benimaru felt a surge of power so intense that his aura blazed even brighter. The soldiers around him froze, terror filling their eyes. Whispers spread through their ranks. He gained an ultimate skill, because of his master. What kind of monster is Rimuru Tempest? Benimaru grinned, enjoying the fear in their eyes. So now you understand, he taunted, just how far beneath me you are. One soldier dropped his weapon, trembling. Please spare us. Benimaru's gaze hardened. You came to capture our people, to destroy our home. You don't deserve mercy. With a sweep of his hand, he unleashed a torrent of fire that engulfed the remaining soldiers, their screams echoing as they were consumed by flames. When the fire died down, the camp was littered with the ashes of the Falmouth army. Benimaru turned his attention to the shimmering crystal at the camp's center. So, this is the source of that holy barrier, he mused, placing his hand on it. Flames flared from his palm, and in seconds, the crystal cracked and shattered into dust. Satisfied, he looked back toward the path leading home. One down. Now, back to Tempest. Eastern Army Camp. 230 Falmouth soldiers vs Hakuro. The Eastern Falmouth camp buzzed with excitement as the soldiers prepared for what they believed would be an easy victory. Laughter and crude comments echoed as they boasted about their plans to overrun Tempest. Once we wipe out those monsters, that whole kingdom will be ours, one soldier jeered, grinning at his comrades. Yeah, and I hear they've got some beautiful women in that city. I might keep a few as trophies, another sneered. Their laughter was interrupted by a faint rustle, and out of the forest emerged a lone figure. An elderly man in traditional samurai attire, sword resting at his side, stepped into the clearing. He carried himself with an air of calm confidence, his gaze focused yet gentle. One soldier squinted, then burst out laughing. They sent an old man. Tempest must be more desperate than I thought. The others joined in, mocking Hakuro as they drew their weapons. You think one old swordsman can stop 230 of us? Hakuro's expression remained serene. He slowly placed his hand on his sword's hilt, his gaze steady as he replied, You're right about one thing, Tempest is not afraid of sending one man. And by the end of this, you will know why. The soldiers laughed louder, taunting him. Look at him, acting tough. One swing of a sword and he'll crumble to dust. With a calm breath, Hakuro slid his foot back, settling into a traditional stance, and then beckoned the soldiers forward with a slight hand gesture. Come, then, he said with a calm, almost indifferent tone. Show me what you've got. The soldiers charged, weapons raised, ready to overpower him with sheer numbers. But as the first soldier lunged, Hakuro moved in a blur, sidestepping the attack with ease. His blade flashed, and the soldier fell, a clean slice across his armor. Before the others could react, Hakuro was upon them, moving with practiced precision. Each step was a calculated dance, his blade cutting through the air with silent grace. He struck with precision, eliminating two soldiers in a single sweep, then spun to deflect a blow from another. The soldiers reeled, unable to keep up with his speed and skill. One of Hakuro's moves, a quick downward slice known as K's no aim, rain of wind, left a line of soldiers staggering, clutching at fresh wounds as they collapsed. He's too fast. One soldier cried out. Hakuro paused, his eyes narrowing. Your numbers do not impress me. If you rely on brute force alone, this battle is already lost. But he wasn't finished yet. As another group of soldiers advanced, Hakuro used Kiri Sazumeki, Whispering Mist, a technique that made him almost invisible. He slipped between the soldiers, landing blows that they didn't see coming until it was too late. In a matter of minutes, 60 soldiers lay defeated. The remaining soldiers hesitated, but then something strange happened. A voice, cold and mechanical, resonated in their minds and echoed across the camp. Notice. Unique skill acquired, Phantom Blade. Hakuro felt a surge of energy, his senses heightened, his speed and precision amplified by the new skill. He was now able to blur in and out of sight, like a phantom. The soldiers exchanged worried glances, fear creeping into their eyes. But before they could react further, the voice spoke again. Notice. Lord Rimuru Tempest has evolved Phantom Blade into the ultimate skill, Galesword Sage. A wave of wind swirled around Hakuro, amplifying his presence. The soldiers staggered, feeling the intense pressure of his aura. His eyes glinted with a newfound intensity as he held his blade, now radiating a faint aura of swirling wind. One soldier muttered in horror, did his master just grant him an even stronger power? Rimuru Tempest, that monster of a leader. Just how powerful is he if he can do this? Another whispered, taking a step back. Hikuro looked at the soldiers with a calm smile. It seems you now understand that you're not just facing me, you're facing the strength of Rimuru-sama himself. With his new skill, Hikuro moved faster than before, his attacks enhanced by the wind element. He used K's no Kiba fangs of wind, striking multiple targets with a single swipe, sending waves of slicing wind toward the soldiers. They tried to block, but his attacks cut through their defenses with ease. Another move, Hayate Razan, Spiral Gale, allowed him to spin through a line of soldiers, his blade a whirlwind that left no one standing. Each movement was flawless, his mastery of the sword now amplified by Rimuru's ultimate skill. In their terror, some soldiers tried to flee, but Hikuro was relentless. With Shippu Tasuki Gale Thrust, he launched himself forward, piercing through several soldiers at once, the wind around him acting like an extension of his sword, leaving a trail of devastation. As he cut through the final soldiers, Hikuro's calm voice carried through the silent battlefield. Your arrogance brought you here. Remember that in the next life. When the last soldier fell, Hikuro sheathed his sword, the wind around him dissipating as he walked to the massive crystal that anchored the barrier around Jura Forest. He placed a hand on it, his power surging as he shattered it with a single, swift strike. The crystal fractured, its glow fading as shards fell around him. With his mission complete, Hikuro turned, his thoughts now on Rimuru and the others back in Tempest. I have done my part, Rimuru-sama, he murmured to himself, I trust the rest will go just as smoothly. Without a backward glance, he disappeared into the forest, moving with the grace and silence of the wind, headed back toward Tempest. Western Army Camp. Hana and Gobta vs 300 Fulmouth soldiers. At the Western Falmouth camp, soldiers gathered around fires, laughing, eating, and boasting about the glorious conquest that awaited them. Their voices filled the night, loud and arrogant. After we crush Tempest, everything they own will be ours. One soldier laughed. Especially those beautiful women, another sneered. They'll be begging to serve us. Just then, the laughter died down as two figures emerged from the shadows, a tall, beautiful woman with flowing purple hair, Hana, and a small goblin by her side, Gobta. The soldiers eyed Hana with undisguised lust, their gazes trailing over her. One soldier stepped forward, grinning. Well, what have we here? If you come with us, sweetheart, we'll spare your life, and make you feel good while we're at it. Another added with a smirk, yeah, just give up now. We can make sure you enjoy it. Hannah's expression darkened for a moment, anger flashing in her eyes. But then she gave them a mocking smile, flipping her hair. HMPH, as if I'd ever waste myself on disgusting men like you. I'd rather die. The soldiers, faces twisted in anger at her insult, and one of them sneered, you'll regret that, little girl. Get ready to beg for mercy. The soldiers drew their swords, turning to Gobta and laughing as well. And look at this little guy. If this is all Rimuru can send, Tempest must be desperate. Gobta snickered back, his eyes gleaming with excitement. Oh, I think you're about to find out just how desperate we are. Hana drew her weapon with a wicked grin. Alright, Gobta, shall we show these idiots why they should never underestimate us? Let's make it quick, Gobta replied with a grin, readying his blade. The soldiers charged, but Gobta and Hana moved as blurs, each strike swift and deadly. In just a minute, 90 soldiers lay defeated on the ground. The remaining soldiers, shocked and fearful, began to hesitate, but just then, an eerie voice echoed through the air. Notice. Unique skills acquired by Gobta and Hana. Gobta felt a surge of energy as his skill awakened, and Hana sensed raw strength fill her muscles. But before they could fully register it, the voice returned, louder this time. Notice. Lord Rimuru Tempest has evolved Gobta's skill into the ultimate skill Beast Lord, and Hana's skill into Terra Rampage. The soldiers, who had been mocking them only moments ago, now stared in wide-eyed horror. The voice of the world itself had recognized them, and their leader. One soldier whispered, did that just say Lord Rimuru evolved their skills? He can do that. Only a god could command the voice of the world, another muttered, backing away in fear. Hana, now infused with power, clenched her fists, feeling her strength swell. She took a step forward, her eyes blazing with fury as she yelled, "Behold my master's fragment of power. Lord Rimuru commands the very voice of the world, something only a creator god could do. This is the strength of Tempest." The soldiers trembled, now more terrified of Rimuru than of the battle in front of them. Some tried to flee, but Hana was already moving. With her newfound skill, Terra Rampage, Hana stomped her foot, and the ground quaked, throwing soldiers off balance. She lunged at them, her movements fast and brutal. Her fists became like hammers, crushing armor and bone with ease. She grabbed one soldier and threw him into a group, then swept her arm out, creating a shockwave that blasted through another line of men. Gobta watched for a moment, grinning. "You've got this, Hana. I'll head back to Tempest to report to Rimuru-sama." As he turned and sprinted toward Tempest, Hana was left alone with the remaining soldiers. They were paralyzed with fear, realizing they were trapped with a monster they couldn't hope to defeat. With bloodlust in her eyes, Hana laughed darkly. "What's wrong? Weren't you all just talking about how strong you were? Come, then. Let's see how long you last." One by one, she tore through the soldiers with her bare hands. She crushed weapons, snapped bones, and tossed men aside as if they were weightless. With a grin, she activated her ultimate skill, Terra Rampage, unleashing a flurry of stone spikes that erupted from the ground, impaling several soldiers in one swift move. Then, she summoned a massive boulder, crushing it down onto a cluster of men, leaving nothing but debris. The last soldier standing, trembling in horror, whispered, "Please, please, have mercy." Hana tilted her head, smiling wickedly. "Mercy? I don't think so. You mocked my master, and you mocked me. Now, you face the consequences." With one final, bone-crushing punch, she ended him. The camp was silent, littered with the remains of Falmouth's soldiers, the battlefield painted in blood. Hana took a moment to survey the scene, breathing heavily, her hands slick with blood. Then she turned to the crystal, the power source for the holy barrier around Jura Forest. With a single, powerful punch, she shattered it, the fragments scattering as the glow faded. Satisfied, Hana wiped the blood from her hands and headed back to Tempest. Her face held a faint, satisfied smile as she left the destroyed camp behind her, a testament to the wrath of Tempest's warriors. Southern Army Camp. 200 Falmouth soldiers versus Akamaru. At the Southern Army Camp, the Falmouth soldiers lounged around, boasting about the glory they expected in their assault on Tempest. "Once we break into Tempest, we'll take whatever we want," one soldier laughed, tearing off a chunk of bread. "Those monsters won't even know what hit them," another added with a sneer, clinking his mug against his comrades. Suddenly, a figure stepped out of the forest, calmly walking toward the campfire. Akamaru, tall and imposing, his eyes gleaming with a fierce determination, approached the group without hesitation. The soldiers spotted him, momentarily startled. "Look at this idiot. Only one. He must have a death wish," one of the soldiers sneered, grabbing his sword. 4 others joined him, drawing their weapons. "Yeah, this monster's outnumbered. Let's teach him a lesson," another soldier taunted. The 5 soldiers rushed forward, blades raised, but Akamaru barely flinched. In an instant, he swung his sword with deadly precision, slicing through the air. The 5 men barely had time to react before their heads hit the ground, blood pooling around them. The remaining soldiers froze, eyes widening as Akamaru calmly lifted his gaze, meeting their stunned faces with a cold smile. Without a word, he slowly unsheathed his sword fully, preparing for the oncoming onslaught. He's strong. One of the soldiers stammered, fear spreading through the group. "Everyone! Attack him together!" Another shouted, gripping his sword tightly as the soldiers gathered their resolve and charged toward Akamaru. Akamaru met their attacks with effortless skill, his movements fluid and precise. He dodged their strikes, countering with swift, brutal cuts. His sword gleamed in the moonlight as he dispatched one soldier after another, each movement efficient and deadly. 40 soldiers fell within moments, unable to match his strength or speed. Suddenly, a deep, ethereal voice echoed through the air, stopping both Akamaru and the remaining soldiers in their tracks. Notice. Unique skill acquired by Akamaru. Akamaru felt a surge of energy pulse through him as the unique skill awakened within him, filling him with raw, electric power. Sparks of lightning crackled along his arms, and he felt his body become faster, his reflexes sharper. But before he could fully comprehend the new power, the voice of the world spoke again. Notice, Lord Rimuru Tempest has evolved Akamaru's skill into the ultimate skill Judgment Lightning. A chilling silence fell over the camp. The soldiers stared at Akamaru in terror, whispers of Rimuru's name spreading through them like wildfire. This monster serves Rimuru Tempest, who commands the voice of the world. One soldier murmured, backing away in horror. Rimuru must be some kind of god. Another cried out, trembling as he clutched his sword, his knuckles white with fear. Akamaru, now empowered with his ultimate skill, glared at the soldiers with a cold fury. You dared to threaten my master's people, now face the judgment of Tempest. With a flash of light, Akamaru unleashed his new power. Bolts of lightning surged from his hands, streaking across the battlefield with deadly speed. Each strike found its target with unerring accuracy, leaving only charred remains where soldiers once stood. The Falmouth army screamed in terror, realizing they were facing not just a skilled warrior but an unstoppable force of nature. One by one, the soldiers fell, unable to resist the devastating power of Judgment Lightning. Akamaru moved through the camp like a storm, his sword and lightning tearing through armor and flesh alike. His attacks were relentless, and every enemy who dared to approach was struck down instantly, his body left smoking from the electrifying energy. As the last soldier crumpled to the ground, lifeless, Akamaru paused, his gaze shifting to the large crystal in the center of the camp, the final source of power for the holy barrier trapping Jura forest. Without hesitation, he raised his hand, gathering a massive bolt of lightning, and hurled it at the crystal. The crystal shattered, fragments scattering as the glow faded, signaling the collapse of the barrier. At that moment, a faint ripple spread across the sky, as if the forest itself had been freed. Satisfied, Akamaru sheathed his sword, taking one last look at the now deserted camp. It's done, he murmured, a quiet sense of satisfaction in his voice. With his mission complete, Akamaru turned and began his journey back to Tempest, knowing that he had struck fear not only into Falmouth's army but also left a powerful message: Tempest and its people would not be defeated. Not while Rimuru Tempest and his loyal warriors stood guard.